I'm live. Good evening to you, wherever you're watching from. And for those who are going to catch it on replay, you are welcome. So, today I'm basically talking about my book, Shining in Your Spotlight. Like, this book for me is a blessing. I've heard a quote before where I think it was Daniel Priestley who said that the book that changes your life is not the one you read, but the one you write. Well, that's just a sideline for anyone who knows that it's in their hearts, they've had it in their heart to write a book. Get to work and get that book out because it's going to change your life and it's going to bless you. So, today I just really want to talk about this book. Like, what does this even mean? What does shining in your spotlight mean? For me, shining in your spotlight, I'll first of all talk about the history, right? It was born out of my thoughts considering what I had learned in the last few years of my life compared to what I had known all the years. I felt like if I had known better, maybe when I was 20 years old, when I was 25, and all of that, I should have done better. And this is not just talking about from a place of regret, but more like, okay, now that you know better, you can help others know better on time and do better. And the reason is this: there's so many people who grow up with a dream, but along the line, I don't know, the dreams are lost. Why? Maybe the pressures of life has kind of crushed them to the point where that's no longer the primary aim. They're struggling to survive. They're trying so hard to keep up with the situations of life, with like the whole, just the lifestyle of, maybe probably going to a job or the families just trying to keep up and barely living by, right? And that's why I wrote this book because at any point in time, I realized that anybody can change his or her own life. When you decide, when you realize is the first thing. I think the first thing is when you realize that you're made for more, when you realize that you could do better, then you will start to find out those things which would enable you to start to live better. And I think God made it that way because it means that at any point in time, you can wake up and say, enough is enough. Enough is enough of whatever situation that is, whatever it is that is not serving you well. You can decide enough is enough and find a way to make things start to work in a different direction. I think that's the beauty of life, right? So, this is me just, basically making a call in terms of the fact that if you know that you're someone who feels like your life is not going maybe as fast as you want it to be, maybe as purposeful as you want it to be, maybe as fulfilling or impactful as you want it to be. I think you should start from a place of reflection to ask yourself, what is wrong? What is not going well? And how can I make things change? And the best way to do so is get a copy of a book that you know will serve you. Well, it doesn't have to be this one, but if you get a copy of this one, believe that this will definitely change your life. I'll tell you what shining in your spotlight is for today, right? We will talk about other things at some point. But shining in your spotlight is basically what is even the spotlight, right? So for me, it's not only those who are like celebrities that are in the spotlight. When we came into this world, everybody came with their unique spotlight. Wow. You came with your own unique gifts, your own unique talents. You came with your own your own uniqueness in essence, right? You brought flavor to your family. And of course, God made it in a way that that flavor would get to the world as you grow, right? You were that joy that came into a home, right? You came packaged, fully loaded. But like I said, some people lose all of those essence along the way. It's not even like it's lost, but it's kind of suppressed, I would say. Yeah. So your spotlight is those things that are unique to you, that God has created you for, and that would enable you as you grow to start to make an impact in the world. And I think that's why I called it shining. I didn't use the word shine, right? Because I feel like shining is something that ought to be continuous. Because in life, there's something we call potentials, right? There is no limit to what that is. There's no limit to your potentials. There's no limit to what you can achieve. There's no limit to anything because that's the way God has made it. Even He is eternity, right? And He said that He has set eternity in our hearts. So as we continue to unveil and unfold the life that He's given to us, there's so much in us that we would even be amazed at what we could do, right? Consider somebody who probably was, we always like to use this example. Maybe you were once a shy person, and all of a sudden you see yourself bold. Well, it didn't come just like that, right? There had to be some work done. And then you cannot even imagine, oh, how did I get here? Or somebody who used to be very poor and now they're so rich. They grew up from a very peasant, like a peasant family, and now they're so rich. Then they ask themselves, how did we get here, right? My point is, at every point in time, life is like living life fully is limitless. There's no limit, there's no cap to it. So it's up to you to continue to unearth and unfold that thing which God has given to you so that you can start to live in a more purposeful way as God has called you to. Okay. So that's just basically explaining the reason for the title, Shining in Your Spotlight. So I would say that this book is for anybody who knows that they want to um, be more. You want to become better than what you used to be, right? You want to live more. You want to live more purposeful than you used to be. Grab a copy of this book and it's going to bless you because it basically starts by igniting your mind so that you can transform your life for ultimate success. Igniting your mind is the first call, right? The first call to, change in anybody is igniting your mind for success. Okay, so what does this even now mean now? Me talking about shining in your spotlight. What does shining in your spotlight mean? It means that you have to own those gifts. Like you have to recognize those things that you have within you. Your gifts, your talents, your experiences, everything that has added up so far, and start to walk in it, right? Unashamed, unafraid, regardless of what your past has been, regardless of the situations and circumstances you ever found yourself, because the past doesn't really matter anymore, right? It's gone with the past. All you have to do is pick up yourself and move, right? So walking in your authentic self, not trying to be anybody else, not looking at anybody else because everybody's running his or her own race. These are the key things I think we need to shine in your spotlight because that's the best way for you to operate in your purpose. And of course, if you have to do that, then there has to be some consistency. There is not going to be like you waking up today and you don't feel like, no, it's not about that. It's about you consistently learning, consistently building yourself up to be able to make greater success for yourself. Okay. And for you to do that, there's some things that you must first realize. It's about you walking towards fulfilling your purpose, right? Because when you're walking in your authentic self with your key experiences, with your what did I call it? Like your skills, your talents, and all of those things, it's all alluding towards your purpose. I've heard this quote that says, if it is good for God and it is good for people, go ahead and do it. Because in that statement, encapsulates everything that has to do with your purpose, being an impact to the world with those things that are uniquely yours, which God has given to you. So walking in your purpose will require some level of boldness, right? So all of these things I'm talking about is still shining in how you shine in your spotlight. You have to walk in boldness regardless of what people think. Because some people may hold an idea of you. I call it an idea because they don't fully know you, right? You could have evolved, you could have changed, but they think about you based on the idea they have about you, right? That could be a different person that they know or they think they know. So you have to be the one to prove to yourself that you are walking in your purpose and, of course, in obedience to God, not in relation to what people think. You have to choose to obey your creator, your maker, in walking in your purpose versus living in fear or in thoughts of what people will think about you. And do you know that as you do so, you will definitely be an inspiration to others? Do you know that? Like, you will be an inspiration to others, because there are some people that will never rise until they see you rise. They do not need the likes of, I don't know, the elites, right? Anybody who is an elite that you can think of. They don't need those people to be their motivation. They need you, who is in their circle, who is in their space, who they have seen grow. They need such from you. So think about how you can walk in your purpose and becoming an inspiration to those around you. It doesn't necessarily even have to be those that are your mates, or those, you could be those that are just coming up, who you can show them what's possible in life, right? That's still how you can shine in your spotlight. The fact that you're able to show others what's possible for them to also walk boldly. So while doing this, because like I said, it's all in connection to obedience to the call, obedience to your creator, then you have to do it in the most humbling way. No pride, because God doesn't like that, right? So walking in humility is very key. Now, I would dare say that it means that you will not let anything dim your light, right? God has already placed that spotlight on you. So you're not going to let anything dim your light. The reason is this: because challenges will come. Things will come that will try to suppress that thing which you're trying to shine out, right? Because I think that's the way the world is built already. No wonder Jesus even said it. He said, in this world you have tribulations, but be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. And that's the reason why I'm saying you will not let anything dim your light, because you're going to rise up from within. You just be strong, be bold, regardless of situations and circumstances. And for me, the best way I do that is keep myself grounded in the word. I keep myself grounded in the word of God. I keep myself grounded in the things of God, in church, right? That's where I get my strength from. That's where I get my identity from. That's where I get my confidence from. That's why I can show up here and show up unapologetic. I show up boldly. I show up without any fear of what people think, right? Because I know what my mission is. I know what my purpose is. I know what I've been called to do. And I'm not afraid to walk in it. No wonder St. Paul says, we are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It is the power of God to save, right? Of God unto salvation. So I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed. I'm walking boldly, because I know that as I do so, I'm evolving even as a person, and I will continue to shine in my spotlight. I'm definitely going to continue to be an inspiration to somebody else. I'm definitely going to continue to be a voice that somebody needs to hear. Do you know that there was a message I heard yesterday? It was just a very short reel, just yesterday, a very short reel, and that thing really inspired me so much, and I felt like that was the voice of God to me. That's the reason why we don't need to keep quiet, because you never know who you are impacting with your voice. You never know who you are touching just by the message that you carry. And I forwarded that message to two people, and they said the same thing. This was what I needed to hear at such a time as this. So shining in your spotlight means that you will obey the voice of God. You will do those things that you've been called to do, and you will continue to live out purposefully and impacting your world. Because guess what? I always like to demonstrate it like a puzzle. God has this grand design of a puzzle. And here I am, one piece of that puzzle. If my piece is missing from the whole bunch, guess what? I spoiled it. I've ruined the puzzle from being completed. That means the one on the right is not touching the one on the left. The one on top is not touching the one beneath. So I have to be placed in my position so that every other one can fit in nicely, and we all can live in a better world. We're making the world a better place every single day. Honestly, I hope this has been an inspiration to someone. I would like to stop here because I know for a fact that it's late already, even for me. So you can grab a copy of the book if you think what I've shared has inspired you. There's a whole lot to learn from this book, and I'm going to be bringing more of these conversations your way soon. But before I go, I'd like to also introduce my other book, This one is called Made for More. So this is shining in your spotlight, and this is Made for More by yours truly. And this one is a children's version, an adapted version of the main book, right? Because I realized that, like I said, if you were younger and you knew better, you will do better. So I have three kids. And at this point, I want them to grow up right by the power of God's Spirit, right? God helping me to teach them right, to help them to walk right, to know right, even from the beginning. And that's the reason why I wrote this book. And I was also inspired to create like a mastermind program for the children. Well, children of all ages, we're going to be categorizing them in different age groups, right? So you can also grab a copy of this. This is also available in Amazon. I have this one in Audible, this one not yet in Audible, but of course in the hard copy you can always get a copy. And if you know you want to join our mastermind for your kids, just for them to learn these life skills, these things that will make them toughen up from the beginning, that will enable them to get it right the first time, to walk in purpose even from the beginning, right? I mean, it's never too late to do so. We've seen children who from a tender age, maybe things like in Hollywood and all of those things, but this is not the direction we're going. We are kingdom people. So if we're getting it right from the first, the first time with these children walking kingdom way, right? They are definitely shining even from their beginning in their spotlight. So grab a copy of the book. But beyond just the book, right? This is just me bringing inspiration to you today, right? Just to know that God loves you, just to know that you are made for more, just to know that you cannot live below your potential. You cannot live below all that God has called you to. So rise up boldly, walk in all that you know God has called you to. It's a baby step. Like you take one step at a time. Do what you've never done before. So just come out, like be out. That's just my message here today. Me talking about shining in your spotlight today is about you finding your voice, finding a way to come out of your shell, to do the things that you know God has called you to. So I hope this has blessed you today. I'm gonna come your way at some point soon. Yeah, and basically that's it. I hope this has been interesting. So I'll be coming your way very soon again. Until then, stay blessed and God bless you. Cheers.